Yo, what's good with y'all boys, man? We on another video. Welcome back to the page. It's been a while, or it ain't even been that much of a time. It's been like a week. I said I'm gonna do a couple episodes a week. I lied, or I didn't lie to y'all. Soon as the Clippers Maverick series finished, I recorded something and so many troubleshoots was happening. I just gave it up and lost my mojo. But today I'm chilling and I do actually want to do this. So I'm gonna talk basketball. We're gonna be talking about the COVID-19 20 NBA draft because that draft was sick. Hey, I know y'all like that title. Maybe I dragged in a couple new viewers with that title and that thumbnail because hey, some of my best work. Um, let's talk about this draft class. It was actually the NBA 2020 draft class, but this draft class was very weird because it was the first draft class in maybe all time or in a very long time where the prospects weren't going to Adam Silver. I remember this draft class was during the pandemic, the peak of it, and a lot of people didn't do their homework on this draft. This draft was it was a random draft, like kind of how like this year we're going into it where Anthony Starr is kind of viewed as one of the weaker draft classes. People just ain't doing their homework on this draft class the same way they didn't do their homework on the 2020 draft class. Every draft class there comes at least three all stars, man. Like I can't tell you the last draft class where there wasn't at least three all stars in it. And the fact that people looking at the 24 draft class like, hey, this is one of the worst draft classes of all time, man. Let's just move back. Let's just move back. Out of the 60 players that will be chosen next month, I could guarantee y'all there will be three all stars. And if you have a pick to get a all star, you should do it. Okay, we're not going to talk about it too much because this draft class, I remember it annoyed me that people were low on this draft class. I remember this class was looked at for their top three. It was just Anthony. For me personally, it was Anthony Edwards and LaMelo Ball, and that's it. But a lot of people, I was wrong, and I know I was wrong at the time. I just didn't know who the other people were. So let's talk about this draft class, man. You got Anthony Edwards, bro. Like this guy is a face of the NBA. Taking that pick on. Don't got to talk about Anthony Edwards too much. Y'all see what he's doing in the playoffs. He's one of the best playoff risers. He's an absolute star. He's a top 10 player in the NBA. Anthony Edwards. Next pick we got is James Wiseman. James Wiseman is a backup center with some upside. Yes, he's taking that pick too, but unfortunately, you are a backup center with upside. The Warriors took him out of Memphis to be this shooter, kind of stretch five who could score. He will be perfect for them. I remember at the time I was pulling my hair that they didn't take LaMelo Ball. Especially, it seemed like on draft night, I believe Klay Thompson got hurt. So I really thought they were going to go with the guard. I think Klay Thompson literally tore his ACL again on draft night. So did John Wall, like fall down the staircase. Wild story. Wild times to be a fan of the NBA. But yeah, James Wiseman's a backup center. He didn't play at all in college. He was drafted off of his high school tape at pick two, and hey, you see what happens when you do that. Golden State Warriors, they really folded at this time because I thought they should have took LaMelo or trade the pick. They played with their food, and now they got Stephen Curry, no help. This was the pick where you get Steph Curry help in a trade. When you have Stephen Curry, who cares to draft the next Steph Curry? You got him already. Go get Stephen Curry some adequate help. And right here, LaMelo Ball, dude, LaMelo Ball, he's been very, very much hurt. He is a franchise player, though. LaMelo Ball is a franchise player who needs to get healthy. But two out of the top three picks so far have been all stars who I think both of these guys will be in the NBA Hall of Fame one day. I know it's very early for LaMelo Ball to say that, but his only problem is health. As long as LaMelo Ball is healthy, I'm going to say this. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame one day, confidently. Next pick we got is Patrick Williams, who even at the time, a lot of people thought this was a surprising pick. Patrick Williams, he's a solid player who needs more opportunity. Solid role player. None too much, nothing bad to say about your boy Patrick Williams. Isaac Okoro, he's a defensive role player who recently he's been shooting 40% from the 3-point line. I believe his best role in the NBA is going to be one of those 3-and-D shooting guards, similar to Alex Caruso, but he's gonna have to knock down his three ball more. I understand he's shooting 40%, but teams leave him open and they dare him to shoot. But he's doing his job. Him as a shooting guard on a contender as a solid 3-and-D, great player. Onyeka Okongwu, he's another solid pick who needs opportunity. This man actually, I actually feel bad for bro because like they had Clint Capella in front of him the whole time, and he's been committed to his role. You know, he's understanding that as soon as Clint leaves, he's got the job. And now they got pick one, and it seems like they might just go ahead and take Alexander Sarr because he's the number one prospect and he fits amazingly next to the guards. So, you know, this guy is just, I hope he gets traded and finds another opportunity because he is one of those guys who reminds me of Bam Adebayo. I'm a Heat fan, and when I say that, it's with the utmost respect. Some players on defense, they move a certain way, and Onyeka Okongwu is one of those guys. I understand he hasn't developed all that well, but I mean, has he had the opportunity? You know, so Onyeka Okongwu, another nice defensive role player. Hopefully, he starts next year, or he gets traded to somewhere he can start. Next, we got Killian Hayes. Killian Hayes is just, oh man, especially with the guards that go ahead of him in this draft. Very unfortunate pick by the Detroit Pistons at 7, but you know, other stuff happened. We're gonna talk about some of the guards that they could have took in this class, bro. You got Halliburton, Maxey, Cole Anthony, Peyton Pritchard, Emmanuel quickly. I mean, every single guard that was taken after him would have been a better pick. You know, unfortunate world, but it's what happened. Obi Toppin, I remember this guy in college. Everybody loved him. He was. I remember he was the man in college. Obi Toppin going pick 8 to the New York Knicks. He was a good role player, bro. He did what he had to do. And on Indiana Pacers now, good role player. Obi Toppin's gonna have him quite a career as a good role player. Now, Denny Avdia, he's a very solid role player. He's a very solid 3-and-D. I feel like he's gonna be one of these guys who he's on the Washington Wizards, so people don't really know him, but he could rebound the ball well. He's a legit 40% three-point shooter, and he's a 6'9" versatile defender, dude. Denny Avdia, bro, come to Miami. Come to Miami, bro. Like, he's being wasted in Washington, but this guy's amazing. Jalen Smith, he was drafted by the Phoenix Suns at pick 10. I remember he would come off the bench to back up DeAndre Ayton for a couple of years. He was really good at that, and he's playing the same role in Indiana. Solid backup small ball 5. You got next Devin Vassell. He's a star player. Devin Vassell, he's a low end star. I seen a stat that from 40%, not from 40%, but from like 40 feet, Devin Vassell is one of the best 3-point shooters. You got Curry, Damian Lillard, Devin Vassell, Trae Young. You know, like Devin Vassell's in a category with those guys from the long ball. And when I'm watching the Spurs, he really do be shooting them boys from deep, and he knocks them down at a solid clip. So he could be a third, fourth option on a championship team. Devin Vassell is going to be a great player in the NBA. Tyrese Halliburton, he's a all NBA player, you know, like this is exactly how you should draft, by the way, because everybody has a discussion on, did the Kings lose the DeMontis Sabonis trade? Guess what? If they would have went with the next big man, Isaiah Stewart, who would have fit their lineup, instead of Tyrese Halliburton, they would have never had the tradable asset to get Sabonis. You draft the best player available. They took Tyrese Halliburton while they had De'Aaron Fox, not because they needed him, but he was the clear-cut best player available, you know? And guess what? They got a crazy player at the center position to fit next to the guy who they've been building around. To anybody who thinks that the Pacers lost that trade or the Kings lost that trade, you don't understand how great of a job their GM did by drafting Halliburton right here. It took balls to do that, and he flipped him into a all NBA center. You know, great pick by the Kings. They did the right thing by moving on from him, and everything made sense. Are they going to win a championship? Look, we don't know, but the Kings being a competitive team, shout out to them. Kyra Lewis, Don't really know much about you, Kyra. Not gonna lie. I know about most NBA players, so if I don't know about you, I don't know about you. Next player we got is Aaron Neesmith. Aaron Neesmith has been a very good 3 and D wing, and I think he's gonna be one of those guys who's gonna stick around in the NBA for a while. He's really good on defense, really good at 3 point shooting. I remember him possibly being one of the best college 3 point shooters of that year, no matter what. Maybe the best. Yeah, Aaron Neesmith is a sniper. Cole Anthony. This guy is a six man of the year candidate, in my opinion. That's it. When I see Cole Anthony like get in the game, I'm just waiting on him to check out. But he is a six man of the year candidate. He just him starting, dude. He takes on that number one option. He stands out. He J.R. Smith, okay, J.R. Smith, Malik Monk, Jordan Clarkson. He's of that mold, and that's a great player to have, especially at pick 15 in NBA draft, and I'm getting me a six man of the year candidate. Shout out to the Magic, man. Hey, 16, we got that boy. The bad boy Pistons, man. We got Isaiah Stewart. Big Stu, not that bad. He's a gritty backup big, real gritty. And he'll get gritty with anybody. Shit, you do that with LeBron, you'll do it with anybody. Yeah, but he be knocking out his three sometimes, dude. So, nice little solid backup big. Poku. Poku, this was the start of the Thunder's rebuild with Poku. Hey, they took the guy with the crazy upside because, hey, if Poku would have hit, they would have had a 7 foot forward next to Chet. That would have been crazy. But, he was a project that, didn't project. He was a boomer bust foreigner, and he's a tweener. He was a foreign boomer bust pick. You always got to have one of those in the draft. And it was Poku. It was fun while he lasted. It was fun. Next, we got Josh Green. Josh Green, he's a good role player that fits the Dallas Mavericks. I seen recently in the playoffs, stuff been going on with him. He ain't been playing as much, but hey, we'll figure that out in the future. Josh Green is nice 3 and D player. That's what you want. That's what you want from your role players. 3 and D. If you could knock down threes and play some defense, shout out to you. Another 3 and D. Sadiq Bey, 3 and D. You play some defense, knock down your threes. I remember Sadiq Bey on the Pistons though. He had like a month in March or April. That boy was going blur. I remember he had like 40, 50. Sadiq Bey going crazy randomly. Shout out to Sadiq Bey. Next, we got Precious Achua. Precious Achua, drafted by the Heat Nation. I don't really know too much about. He's a decent role player that plays defense, and on the Knicks, actually, he hasn't been playing tough. I was about to say I don't know too much about Precious Achua. I know exactly of him. He's solid rebounder, very energetic guy off the bench. He plays good defense. Another guy who you want, like most of these guys who we talking about in a draft class that everybody was low on, these guys have figured roles in the NBA. The only people who haven't had a role in the NBA solidified yet is Poku, Kyra, and Killian Hayes. After that, all these people is guys who we talk about as legit players in the NBA. Also James Wiseman. But hey, now we on the Tyrese Maxey, and this guy just won Most Improved Player of the Year, bro, and he's an all-star, man. Yeah, Tyrese Maxey's legit star. The way he just played in the playoffs, and you got him at pick 21 in a draft class where people were saying is going to be one of the worst draft classes in a while, shows you should not listen to people just chatting, okay? Just let the players play and find out how good the draft class is. No, who needs to? These kids are like 18, 19 years old, bro. Some of them 17 right now, about to turn 18 in the next month, and then they're going to be qualified for the draft. Like, come on, telling you don't know the future like that, man. Come on, you got a top 10 pick and you wanted to trade back. Go ahead and do it. Some of these teams, they got to trade up the way these people chatting about this draft class, man. This is the first player who, like, I don't know about Zeke Naji. Everybody talks about him like, oh man, he's gonna be the guy for the Denver Nuggets that takes that backup forward spot. I actually watched the Denver Nuggets. And I never see this guy play, man. Like I don't watch every single one of the games, but like this Zeke Naji dude, bro. If he is playing when I'm watching, I don't realize him. This Zeke Naji dude, man. Like, hey, shout out to Zeke Naji, bro. But he's a player who a lot of people like, oh, he underrated, you know, and like, okay, okay, like Zeke Naji, all right, bro. But Zeke Naji, I don't know too much about you, man. So show me some, because I know about almost every single NBA player, and I don't know about you, man. Leonardo. Hey, I didn't know about this guy until I was gonna do a video on this draft, bro. Yeah, and you see it on his jersey, bro. Bro, already back home. So shout out to Leonardo. You got you a couple checks in the NBA, and you bounce back. Shout out to you. I don't even think the rookie contract is over yet, but being back in the other league is wild. But shout out to the Turkish Airlines. Turkish Airlines. RJ Hampton. I remember him being a highly touted prospect out of high school and in college. He was all right. And RJ Hampton, he's part of Heat Nation before. Past month. He's cool, but he's not going to be in the NBA too long unless he drastically improves with RJ Hampton. E-Man, Emmanuel quickly, bro. This is a guy who I think is a very good player in the NBA. I think he has the opportunity and the fit on the Toronto Raptors now to where he could blossom into his fullest self. He's a defensive guard who could score the ball and create his own shot. He's a decent playmaker. He could create for others, but that's not what he's mainly there for. But on the team, you have a point forward in Scotty Barnes who could be that guy who creates for others while he takes advantage of that. So, real quickly, he's in a blessed position with the Raptors, and I think if he keeps starting, they're gonna have him a nice player. Emmanuel quickly, a name to remember. Peyton Pritchard. I hate this guy, bro. I hate this guy. He don't miss any threes, bro. I hate this guy, bro. You a good role player, bro. Yeah. Peyton Pritchard, bro. This guy, I don't even know who you is, bro. Like this what I mean, bro. If I don't know you, bro, it's crazy. Yeah, Udoka, shout out to you, man. Jaden McDaniels at pick 28 by the Los Angeles Lakers was my favorite pick of this draft. I remember that. He was a great defensive star that I loved in high school. He also, I feel like he was number one in his class during high school because Jaden McDaniels was the guy for me in this draft. I would have personally took Jaden McDaniels top 10, bro. No question. You really could have convinced me top 5. I was that high on Jaden McDaniels. So him falling to pick 28 and turning out to be who he is, that's kind of a shout out to me, man. Jaden McDaniels was tough. Malachi Flynn. Hey, this draft class, he's had the highest career high. Shout out to Malachi Flynn dropping 50 points in March Madness, dude. He dropped 50 during March. I ain't gonna lie, I was at work when he dropped that 50-point game. I saw Malachi Flynn 50. I thought it was a March Madness game. That's why I said shout out March Madness. I really thought he was a college player or something. But I do know who Malachi Flynn is. It just didn't click in my head that he's dropping 50 in the NBA game, But Malachi Flynn, 50 points. That's all I got to say about Malachi Flynn, bro. Ain't too much. Desmond Bain, pick 30, last pick of the first round. We've talked about 30 players in this video already, man. Make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe. We 18 minutes in and we talked about 30 players. And these are my opinions on these guys. And if I'm being honest, my opinions are objective. Like, unless it's a Heat player, maybe I'll be a little biased, but I'm genuinely just objective on this channel talking basketball. Desmond Bain, he's a low end all star. He could, probably prove me wrong in the future. Be better than that. But no matter what, I think he's a low end all star. And having that at pick 30, you have a sniper who plays defense and is capable of being a 23 point per game scorer for the rest of his career as long as he's in Memphis. Now they're getting Ja Morant back. Hey, the Grizzlies is going to be a team who, especially they picking high this year again, to watch out for because they got people like Desmond Bain. Now we on to the second round where Vernon Carey. This was a guy who I personally liked. If I'm going to take my W with Jaden McDaniels, I'm going to take my L with Vernon Carey. I was watching him since high school because he's a player in my area. So that is one of the reasons why I fell in love with him as a NBA prospect. Hopefully, he gets another chance in the league. Xavier Tillman. Xavier Tillman, this guy in the second round, bro, is solid backup small ball big, bro. Solid backup small ball big. Trey Jones, solid backup point guard. Nick Richards, again, kind of the reason why the Hornets were comfortable letting Vernon Carey go. They got them a solid backup big in Nick Richards, that ain't crazy. Jordan Noir, Nico Mannion, I really wish that he panned out, but he didn't. He didn't. So Kenyon Martin Jr. in the second round is not bad. An elite pick in the second round by the Philadelphia 76ers, Isaiah Joe. Isaiah Joe's been a sniper, one of the best three-point shooters in the league, and you getting that at what? The second round, dude. Like, y'all gotta understand that these second round picks is valuable, bro. You got Paul Reed. Paul Reed is the third to last pick and has been playing a vital part for the Philadelphia 76ers since he was drafted. And like, he's the third to last pick. And we're not even talking about the last pick of the draft, Sam Morrell. He's a three-point sniper. I understand he's 28 years old already, but 40% from three, 90% from the line. He's a legit three-point specialist. He's a sniper, bro. So come on, man. These draft classes, bro, the NBA, this is how every single player who has ever played in the NBA joins the NBA for the most part. So, of course, there's going to be a draft where the greatest player of all time is in the draft. I don't understand the reason for people to just talk about how bad they think the 24 draft class is, man. Like, worst draft class of all time is all I'm seeing. Hey, all I know is the last time I saw this much hype about a draft class being bad, it was the draft class that we just talked about almost 50 players. We almost just talked about 50 players who have been positive players for these teams. So, like I said, you keep them draft picks, see who you get, and yeah, that'll be it for this video. Thank you everybody for listening. Make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that. We just talked about the COVID-19 20 draft class, and it was a great one. A great one. The biggest winner of this draft class was easily the Minnesota Timberwolves because they got the face of the NBA and they got Jaden McDaniels. Another low-key sleeper winner of this draft class. Low-key sleeper because like they didn't draft one player in the lottery, but they ended up getting four players in this lottery. Is the Pacers. They got Aaron Nesmith. They got Tyrese Halliburton. They got Jalen Smith. And they got Obi Toppin. They got a lot of players from the draft class in the top 14. But yeah, that'll be it for me. And everybody have a nice day and God bless.